Greetings, magnificent souls, to the Attract Health, Build Wealth podcast, where we have open and honest discussions about ourselves. This is a place where we break down, break away, and break through codependency, allowing ourselves to attract health, build wealth, and live a peaceful life. We are tired of being sick and tired. We are tired, but we are not giving up. We know that there is something magnificent inside of us. And because we are fighting daily, hourly, and by the minute, fighting ourselves, our kids, our spouses, we have to do things differently. We have to break the cycle. We don't have a million chances. We have to be happy right now. We have to find a way. So how do we do that? How is that possible? If you look around at what society is telling you, they tell you that what you're doing is impossible, yet it's happening every single day. It's happening through the practice and love that we call awakening the magnificent soul. We are magnificent souls, all of us, and these are our stories of healing. Today in episode 5, we'll be talking about something that I've been thinking about for a while as I'm transitioning into a healthy life, and that is loyalty. On first think, loyalty is a notable quality. It is necessary for any relationship, romantic, platonic, professional. It's a type of dedication and trust within that relationship dynamic. But loyalty, it can have a dark side. And at its extreme, loyalty can be a codependent pattern when that dedication means that we remain in a harmful situation for a long time. And before we get too deep into loyalty, as always, please share your thoughts about the podcast, this particular episode, this particular characteristic, or anything you want to share in our safe and open for everyone forum at epiphanyvault.com. You can remain anonymous if you so choose, and you can also use this as a type of journal to release some thoughts into the universe. As always, it is your choice. And jumping back into loyalty. So when I was preparing for this, I was kind of going through what my experience had been in my case. And I'm sure, share with me what your thoughts on this and how you experience this type of behavior. But some quotes, some things that my former partner had always said to me kept coming into mind, like things he would say that really would make me feel like crap. But it would be kind of utilizing and manipulating our relationship and kind of basing that off of, hey, you're not being loyal to me. You're kind of, I don't know, just like a weird dynamic about that. But see if any of these sound familiar. You're always going to be my friend, right? You'll always be there for me. You're my only family. I don't have anyone else. And that's pretty fucked up that you can just leave me like that after all I did and do for you. Raise your hand if any of that applies to you. So in my case, like I said, I felt like he was touching on my loyalty in a way, manipulating my insecurities about myself and kind of projecting shame on me because he was expressing that being who I was or making decisions for myself wasn't what he would term loyal, I guess, if that makes any sense. So he kind of, and everyone wants, let's put it this way. Everyone wants loyalty in a relationship. Not only that, like I said, loyalty manifests itself in all different kinds of relationships, not just romantic. It's like best friends, it's platonic, it's professional, but there's a healthy loyalty that I've been striving to come to terms with, to understand, because I felt like he was using that shame tactic to underestimate my feelings, my decisions that I was going to make, and kind of using that loyalty card in a bad way. So, we talked about earlier about loyalty at its extreme in a codependent, how it manifests itself in codependency is that it kind of keeps you in that same cycle and same pattern in a harmful situation for a long time. And I can definitely say that was my case for a while. And even to this day, there's still a little bit of that going on. And, we're going to talk through this and talk about how that I'm able to set boundaries around that. But that was definitely something that if he said that to me, it would trigger a feeling of shame and of, maybe he's right. Maybe this isn't the way I'm supposed to be acting. So it was kind of like a weird, messed up mind game when he's throwing that loyalty card at me. So let me know what you think about that. Also, loyalty and a lot of, codependency is kind of a new theme when it comes to mental health. And what most of the time, or sometimes it stems from, is having an addict in your family, and the caretaker kind of becomes codependent on helping and being this martyr and in a way enabling situations, right? But further studies have been done, and there's a lot more to codependency, and it is kind of hard to diagnose. And I'm working on a quiz. Just a heads up, I'm working on a quiz right now to put out to you guys to kind of pinpoint whether you're going towards codependent tendencies, because I really believe that codependency is a precursor to a lot of addictions, chemical addictions, food addictions, depression, suicide. So that's something that we're all going to tackle together. But like I said, the original a familial situation where there was most of the time that there was an addict in the family, and that enabler that really just kept taking them in or giving them money, or sometimes people just need to hit rock bottom. I'm not an expert on that, so I just put that caveat in there. But loyalty, does plays out in addiction in your closest circle because of enabling that bad behavior. Like, as a parent, how hard would it feel to close the door on your child, or to cut them off completely, and not knowing when to be with, what they're doing, what help? And again, coming to terms with something I thought about as well would, and I know a lot of people, and I know you do too, who, even though they know they're in an unhealthy relationship and say they have children, they stay together for the sake of the kids, or keeping the family together because of the children. Now, I'm not one to kind of project what I think, other people's decisions should be, but I think that there should be a very hard look on that type of loyalty and how it's affecting you, which is what we're talking about here, really is tapping into your magnificent souls, making good decisions for yourself about self-love and self-awareness, and coming to terms with, if you're in a situation that you aren't able to kind of relish and find joy in that situation, then either you get out of it, or you figure out a way within that situation to live peacefully and happily. But I know a lot of people, and I know you probably do too, who stay in situations for the sake of family, or for the sake of loyalty. So all I'm really saying is, and part of what I'm doing, I'm hoping to do, is really just educate people about their behaviors and maybe why they're doing that. Because sometimes if you just forget about it, or if you don't tap into the reasons why, then it can be dysfunctional and unhealthy. So that's why we want to talk about it here, and maybe it will touch a nerve. But just I know it's not like a decision like we're going to make today, but I've heard of like in my family, for example, people have stayed together until a child graduates from high school. But in between that time of dysfunction and connecting to then, I don't know, I kind of think that there would be a lot of damage done, to yourself, to your children, right? So what we want to do is we want to try to get healthy now so we can help our kids through that. And, what I really want to do with codependency is, like we said, we want to break the cycle. And the number one step in that is starting with you. Another point on loyalty is, at what point does it become unhealthy and dysfunctional or codependent? So that's something that when I was kind of musing over, because like I said, this is something I personally had to deal with in my life and coming to terms with the shame that was projected on me. So what point does it become unhealthy, dysfunctional, or codependent? I would urge you, if you write out it all in a journal, or if you want to use the epiphanyvault.com for this, is figure out what it means to you. You don't have to look deep right now, but what would be an ideal situation? Like, how would you know if someone's loyal to you and it's comfortable and it's not extreme? Or how would you know if you're in a dysfunctional or codependent loyalty situation? What would that look like in a healthy way, right? For me, it would be a situation where there would be no jealousy, because I'm very familiar with that. It would be a relationship where we would be able to talk about our feelings, our concerns. Each party would be respected with regard to opinions, thoughts, even if, that it would hurt somebody on the other side. So that's kind of the way it manifested in my life. So I don't know, I urge you kind of just to think about that. And if it touches a nerve with you, then maybe it would be worth it to write, start small, 100 words. That's my goal every night, is even if I don't have something to write with, I just write out 100 words. So if you get the chance to do that, that may be really helpful if this is something that you're kind of trying to struggle with. But sometimes it's hard to distinguish between anyone's wants or needs or supports in any type of relationship. But a healthy interdependence or dependence is when the scales are equal. So it becomes codependent when the support is tipped and unbalanced, right? So codependency is the disease of shame and fear. So anytime that someone can manipulate that, like that in my case, or if in a marital relationship, someone is taking more of that energy than the other one, then that may be something that you would need to look at, right? So sometimes, again, it's hard to distinguish, but needs and supports should be balanced and equal. And loyalty, is a deep-seated kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's one of those front brain type of things where it's like fight or flight. You got to be loyal if someone isn't, or if someone's projecting that you're not. It's like an instant type of like a flight response, if that makes any sense. Something that I've been doing personally is writing out the qualities about my next partner in my journal. And a lot of that is going to be, or is about loyalty and what that looks like. Does this person deserve my loyalty? Is that person, or would that person be able to be loyal to you in the same way? And again, that's where the unbalance, the scales with codependency really come into play. So I think taking a good look at this is super important, because especially if it makes you feel dysfunctional and bad, right? So if you know that you're not feeling really great in your relationship, and again, this doesn't have to be romantic, this could be platonic, a lot of this sometimes plays out in women platonic relationships, like gossiping or things, disloyal behavior. I think it should be okay to have those conversations with those people in a constructive manner, because again, each person should hold their weight when it comes to being loyal, if that makes any sense. So short one today, but again, I wanted to just touch on that because I've been thinking about that a lot, and about even to this day, what my partner is kind of giving me as far as feedback, and kind of still trying to reel me in, keep that relationship, or keep the relationship on his terms, is, you're going to be my friend, right? Or, all this kind of shame-based rhetoric about the way that I should be acting. And, of course, we're all here because we're learning how to act true to ourselves, right? So that's what we're all learning, and that's what I'm learning, and I hope everyone's learning that on a day-to-day basis, because I feel like if you forget about that, you can be easily kind of pulled away from all the muck and the mire of negativity and polity. But again, let me know your thoughts at epiphanyvault.com. Again, an open and honest forum. You don't have to leave your name, and we can cover it on the show. You have the option to do that. Or you can just put it out into the universe as energy. You can use it as your journal. I say let's go for a goal of 100 words a day. That's what I do. And sometimes I just write out just mantras or sayings or even blah, 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 blah sometimes. And I think that's okay. I think just get in that practice, because about writing, I always kind of shied away from it and didn't do it and kind of passed it off as, oh, I hate it. Like I'm not a writer, which I still don't think I am, but that doesn't matter, right? It's the practice of that meditation and that outward release, that introspection that is really going to be beneficial in the long run. Trust me, promise me. I promise you, sorry. But yeah, epiphanyvault.com, and we'll see you next